We are Molly and Hayden LeJeune, and we raise grass-fed beef direct to consumer at the farmers markets, farm to table style.
We practice rotational grazing 365 days a year, minimal hay feeding, no fertilizers, no insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, any of that. We believe in manure concentration, fertilizing the land, bringing dung beetles back to the land, beneficial insects.
When we say rotational grazing, for some people that's like a whole pasture that they move to and from, but we have to work with what we've got around here, and most of the land is cropland. So like this is 12 acres that we have cow per acre on, and then we have their calves and everything. So very high stocking rates, and that's why we have to rotate so much.
Intense management for sure.
I defaulted to this land through failure of other people who tried using it, so it's the way it is, but it's somebody's going to have to try to make it better. We can't just keep on saying, well, this is just the way it is.
We have around 70 total grazing acres. We have 12 acres here, like Molly said. We have another 26 down the road, and then another 32. But so they're kind of split up, and we have different herds in each pasture. We don't have the same herd. I'd love to get to the same herd, go into every pasture, but it gets to be a lot trailering animals that often in the year and stuff like that. So it's what we had. We're in rice country, and like so much pasture land gets put into rice production. Somebody buys it, and they can automatically it's going to be going to rice and crawfish in this area. We're moving towards a controlled calving season. I'd like to go more in the South Pole and stuff. Meat quality for one, docility. Of course, we don't have a huge problem with docility at this point. Also, like heat tolerance. They have big gut capacity to eat more because our grasses are so malnourished. Like our grasses don't have much quality to them, even in the spring. It's very rare that Bahia grass will get over like 14% protein, which a lactating cow needs 12. So, you need a cow that's gonna perform on that.
Nothing's honed in, and that's been okay.
So you learn what you like and what you don't like.
Right.
It's a trial thing.
Well, like you'll see there, we got a rainbow of cattle here.
So I give like, let's say 4 paces, so that's 12 feet, and this is about 12 paces, so it's 36, so 12 by 36, and that'll last them 3 or 4 hours, and then after they're done, then I come back again and give them another one. The goal is to get them to eat down as much of this stockpile, dry grass, whatever, as they can, because obviously it's like not the most palatable stuff in the world, but we want to utilize as much of it. So the more we utilize now for the standing grass, the less hay we have to feed later on. So whenever the grass is growing faster, obviously you give them more, you let them be more selective, that kind of thing. You want to get more animal performance out of them, especially. That's obviously why you want to have your calving season in the spring. Most people do, because your grass is best. You can get them to gain more. So this is well, what this is, I have the water lane, right? So they have to have a way to get into the water lane to go back to water, shade, whatever. You can. The beautiful thing about polywire is you can make it go wherever you want it to go. So how I hold it up, well, this is my post that I raise and lower it with. It's a designated that. So I got a key post that I hit in the ground with a rinky-dink hammer that I keep around. Just tap in the ground like that, and then you slide this over. Well, actually, I'll show you the end right here. So the end is like notched out to hold the wire, and so then I slide it over the T-post. Then I use my post that's designated to lift the wire up, and then that's that.
When we need to be gone, this is a little programmable machine that hooks up to the wire. We use it as needed, so it's not hooked up to anything right now. But you just set a time on it, and it beeps and lifts the wire into a triangle, just like the cows are used to going under that pipe. This picks it up. So
you can manually make it lower. Like I'll hold the down arrow down, and it'll lower. And you see the ring right here. So the pole is conductive. So this ring sits on the pole, and so the cows can't like come and hit on it, rub on it, whatever. And then this is like an insulated little handle. So you hook this on your wire. You're gonna like go on the strip grazing, you hook it on the part that you're backing up, and you hook it on the wire, and then you set a time on it, and it just raise it up, and it makes like a little noise. It'll start beeping or whatever. It lets the cows know, hey, you know, I'm raising up, so you know, then they'll just run right through it like the pole over there. The only shade these cattle have in this pasture, that shed right there, you know, or that pecan tree way over there. But other than that, that's it, you know. So we don't have many. That's another thing with the cropland is everybody comes in, they clear out tree lines too, you know. So they buy a pasture, it had trees in it, they clear out the trees. You know, nobody wants to drive around a tree every time. They got to work land, so.
The concept of it works,
Yes.
though. Like, we've had good luck with it.
Yes.
It's mobile. We hook it to the four-wheeler and can move it.
There's a hitch on it, and there's 4 tires. It's 30 feet long by 20 feet wide. It's a 70% UV block or whatever of shade cloth. This was off of an old wagon that my grandfather used to haul cotton to the cotton gin with. This is basically 55-gallon barrels cut in half, and I clean them out and everything. And what we feed in the wintertime, we are grass fed. We feed only the mama cows. We feed non-GMO soybean meal. It's expeller pressed instead of solvent pressed. And you just spread it across in the troughs here, and then
they're all connected.
Yeah, they're all connected, and I have a rope on the other end. I used a 2-inch, that's a 1/4-inch bolt, and I used a 2-inch flat washer, and the 1/4-inch nut on the other side. Sometimes you can be too hard-headed, you know, and I, for one, would know that, you know. You can be too hard-headed and stuck in your ways, you know. You've got to, you know, you can't feed hay, so then you do whatever you can to not feed hay, but then your animals might come out of winter looking, you know, a lot worse than you wanted them to, or whatever. You know, you don't want to feed soy, so you feed alfalfa. Well, then you run all your profit in, you know, feeding alfalfa just because you didn't want to feed soy, or, you know. So we found you know, it's a better alternative. You know, it's an 80-20 type thing. We try to stay 90-10, like perfection versus living with something that's not, you know.
Like what you're
there's a
willing to
balance.
give on.
There's a like life and work balance. There's a, you know, what you can tolerate. You know, what you can get by with and whatever. You know.
I would say he has more of a why from like a producer standpoint, but we were always like, we bought from a farm growing up. We never had store-bought meat. And so I guess my why is more like trying to be that resource that we sought out so much. Like we weren't satisfied with the store. We wanted something different. We wanted to know where our food was coming from and know the quality. And it's just neat to be able to now be that person.
Yeah, I think like for my sake, my dad still is a crop farmer. You know, rice and crawfish and soybeans and stuff like that. And I've just seen like the stressors that he's had, and like all the inputs, the fertilizer, the chemicals, the, you know, even crop insurance, whatever, you know, all this stuff has gotten so expensive, and it's really like a huge weight lifted off of you whenever you don't have to worry about that stuff.
I would say like it doesn't have to look perfect at first. Like we were
Yeah.
saying earlier, our breeding season is not as honed in as we want it to be.
Yeah.
Our genetics are not as honed in, but we're still making progress to where we want to be, and it's not gonna look how we want it on day one. So it's just a progress, and it's just a mindset shift, I think, too, to do this.
You have to be you have to like have your eyes open and be ready to learn something, you know. And whenever you learn something, try to remember it and not forget it for next time, because you'll make the same mistake more than once. You know, I've done that before.